didn't have any goals of like winning a X Games gold or becoming a gold medal Olympian. It's like, I just loved to snowboard, and that was enough to do what I love to do, to make a living at it, and to help influence kids out there to want to go and do it themselves. It's a huge gift, and it's an honor. Growing up in Washington, Mount Baker for a 12, 13-year-old kid seemed like this far off land, such an untouchable, mythical spot that I'd only read about or seen in photos or videos. I just think the terrain at Mount Baker is so challenging that if you could ride or learn or develop as a rider up at that mountain, you can go any place else in the world and be proficient. I grew up skateboarding, so it was always kind of freestyle oriented when I started snowboarding. Wanting to do things that I could never do on my skateboard because that thing wasn't attached to my feet the way snowboarding was. So when I had the opportunity to get up and ride like the half pipe or just ride natural terrain, the kind of stuff that we have up at Mount Baker or in Washington or the Northwest in general, you know, it was definitely trying to apply that skateboard ethic to a big mountain environment.
First out, Rob Morrow. Second out, Jason Wade. 3 out, Matt Cummins. 4 out, Pat A. 5 out, Jamie Lynn. 6 out, Timmy Carlson.
What is it, the 27th, 28th year, Baker Banked Slalom. I started doing it probably the 6th or 7th year in. And it's the kind of race that you could, you know, it's a pretty straightforward, simple course, but you could put riders in all levels and ability to the test. And so to finally get a chance to get up there and experience it was a dream come true. I mean, for such a simple course, there's so much stuff to think about, you know, but then the more stuff you think about, the more your brain gets scrambled. So I really tried to get up in the gate and just clear my head, you know, not think about gate 3 that's got the chunky chops and the icy banks, only to breathe and to stay high through the corners, you know, and if I could do those two things, you usually get into a rhythm where each turn flows into the next. It's only a minute and 30, 40 seconds, but it's the most challenging minute and 40 seconds I've ever ridden on my snowboard. It's excitement, it's nervous anticipation, and then ultimate stoke when you make it down to the bottom without crashing. The area where I purchased this property is the place that I've grown up since 1984. It takes years to develop this kind of stuff, you know, with like a little bit here and a little bit there. And I've been busy for the last 15 years traveling. I haven't really had the opportunity to put a lot of energy and time into developing the property the way I want to develop it. But it's slowly getting there, and it's something that I have the lifetime to work on. It's like a lifetime art installation. You know, it's got the best of what I enjoy of living in the Northwest right out my front door, with all the peace and freedom of acreage to be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want. And it's probably the best thing that I've ever done with what I've been able to acquire through snowboarding. Yeah, you know, I've always had a problem, for me, with the X Games, where you're building people up for just marketing opportunities, you know, instead of just celebrating and supporting the actual act of snowboarding. You know, you don't see any like spontaneous acts of snowboarding in an X Games run or an Olympic, you know, half pipe run. It's just robots going through the motions to impress the criteria of whoever is judging it. You know, it reminds me of the old like ABC sports, like the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, you know, and they've pulled those two opposite ends of the spectrum between ultimate life and ultimate death. And then it's put up on the big screen for everybody's enjoyment. You know, people love a good car wreck and they love a good, you know, like podium finish. And I think false heroes are built on that foundation. To have the opportunity to have a pro model for 20 years, you know, this year is my 20-year anniversary for a pro model. And just that I never expected or thought that I'd be here doing it this long. You know, you thought you'd have your like window of opportunity and then that would pass and then you'd have to like get into like an industry job or like do something completely different just to get away from it. But I've seen throughout the years that I've had a generation of people that I've affected or influenced that have grown up with me that still love to snowboard. You know, if I could still be in a position or opportunity to keep putting out equipment that I endorse or I'm a part of, or help use the 20+ years of experience to help do the research and development and share that knowledge with the companies that I work for to develop better new products, I'm gonna continue to do that. And I always thought if I wasn't able to ever snowboard physically and I could still pick up a paintbrush and put that to a canvas, that I'd love to use that opportunity as, you know, a graphic artist working for the snowboard companies that I've been with, you know, for 20+ years.